What's up? Welcome. I am so glad you are here listening and spending time with me today. Release Your Inner Power talks about life, the trenches, the decisions, and the wins that we have now, today, and that have experienced in our past. There are stories, encouragement, tools, and tips to take those next steps to release that inner power and connect with something that is said or someone, a special guest maybe, that will boost your week. I am your host, Shauna B. Here we go. Real quick, I want to add, because it's summer and we're out having fun and recharging and making memories with my family, that these episodes are the most popular episodes of this last year. I hope you enjoy what these awesome, amazing ladies have to offer. Hello. Welcome back to Release Your Inner Power podcast. I have a special guest today. Her name is Rachel. I cannot wait for her to share her story with us and tell us how she helps women out. Welcome, Rachel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I love this. So tell me about Rachel and what you do to help women.
So I am in my, I'm going to say early 40s. You know, I'm not going to reveal my complete age. I feel too old most of the time. And I have had a roller coaster of life to this point. I am married with the same husband. We have been together for 20 something years. With all the joys that go along with that, we have two children who both have extra needs. So that can be challenging at times. And I've been through a number of traumatic events in my life. So I have made it my passion and my profession to help other, mainly women, but everyone, to release traumatic events from their past and step forward in their best possible energy and be the best version of them that they can.
I love that. Can you share, can we dive in a little bit and share a story about what maybe you have gone through in the past and things that you've learned and how you've come through that to where you are now?
Of course. I mean, I can run through a couple and you can choose one. So my husband, we got together when the internet was just becoming a thing, and we were in the UK. There was a website called Dateline. I know that has a different meaning over here, but at the time it was a dating website, and he proposed after 6 weeks, and we got married just after a year. But we are still dealing with narcissistic parents, well, parents-in-law for me, and helping the husband to be able to take that step back and actually see the situation for what it is. The children, my son is IVF, and I nearly died having him. My daughter is adopted and came with a whole host of health and emotional issues alongside that. And before all of that, I was physically, mentally, and I had physical and mental abuse, and I was violated in the worst way possible by someone I should have been able to trust. So that's kind of my story up until now. You know, I've had lots of different forms of therapy to try and help me, and I've come to the conclusion that much as therapists are amazing, they are forced to go down a particular pathway, and if you don't fit on that pathway, that therapy is not going to help you, which is why I don't want to become qualified as a therapist. I much prefer being a coach, because I can tailor my sessions to my clients and give them a whole range of different experiences that we can go down. One of the biggest things that I've done for my clients is I have actually developed a what I call a lotion bar. and it helps them to re-experience positive touch if they have suffered traumatic touch. And it's something that they can use initially on their own and then allow partners to become involved in that positive touch to try and reinforce the fact that not all touch is unwanted and, you know, can cause traumatic triggers, which is why they work on it individually first. So there's a few things for you. What would you like to explore in more detail?
Well, first, I want to say that I really, really love that you have come up with this way of kind of like diving into it and working with like the positive touch, because that is such a huge barrier. And when you know, a woman has gone through trauma like that and has been violated like that, it is extremely difficult to, and multifaceted, right? Like there's many things you have to work through. And I think it's super important, like even if you do like the mental work and you do the work to like work through it, like you're so right, like actually being touched could be a huge hurdle that you have to get through, because it's so kind of burnt into your brain, if you will, just the act of touch, not necessarily anything else, right? And so I really, really love that you have a technique and a tool that you use, and how you use it with the individual first, and then kind of move out from there and have the people, you know, the person that they're with also do that, so it can transform them into being okay with that. And I can't even like, I can't even imagine what that would feel like to work through that process and then be able to have that in such a positive way when you're done, and to like be freed of like the chains of all of the things that come with that.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of a win-win. It's a slow process, but it is very much a win-win because the formula that I've used for the lotion bars themselves, it's all certified organic products. And as you actually use the bar on your skin, it's the heat of your skin that makes it slowly melt in. So you're actually moisturizing your skin in a beautiful way at the same time as you're relearning touch, or your partner is helping you with touch. And you know, there's little instructions that come with it. And you know, it first of all, it's sort of sit with it in your hands. And that's all you do, is you just sit with it. So you can get the feel of it, and you know it's not a scary thing, and it's not gonna trigger, because you're literally just sat holding it.
Yeah.
And then it's a slow process of you using it on your own skin. And then, you know, you can always use a stuffy and have the stuffy go over your skin first with it. So, you know, there's gradual steps of actually feeling touch that's not yours, but in a positive way, long before you bring the partner into that, so that you've gotten used to the fact that touch can be a positive thing, or at least not a scary thing. You know, we
Yeah.
start off with touch doesn't have to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then we slowly build it up with the partner to become involved. And it could be simple things like hand holding with the bar in between, so that they're still not necessarily touching you. And then slowly, gradually build that up to, you know, full hand holding, and then perhaps touching on the arms rather than grasping. Or I hate to use the word, but sometimes when your partner comes to give you a cuddle, it just feels like a grope rather than actually a cuddle. So, you know, we help the partner as well to bring in that positive touch, so that they can both come at this together and work together through it, rather than it just feeling like one person is doing more of the work and the other person is just sat there going, oh, why can't you just get over this? Because
Right.
that's so difficult for both parties. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult for the partner to understand how you feel when you have been violated in such a way, but
Yeah.
it's also difficult for you to explain to them what that touch does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I can. I mean, with, because it just feels, it, like you said, it feels scary. I'm sure there's a multitude of words that you can use for how it feels, and to even express it, I'm sure can be challenging as well, because you just can't really express how that feels.
And it's so difficult because when you can't express it, they can't even begin to understand what that's doing. And that can cause relationship issues as well. So that's just one of the many, many things that I try and do with my clients to help them come at all the different possible healing methods at the same time. And we try something And if it doesn't work, then we say that's fine. That worked for a little bit and it doesn't work now because you've grown as a person. So now we move on to the next thing that's going to help you for the next step along your journey. And when that no longer works, we'll find the next one. And it's not that you're failing, it's that you're changing as a person because you are going down this healing journey. And, day by day, you become someone different, and we always have to remember to look where we've come from. We may not necessarily be where we want to be yet, but we have to remember to turn around and look and see where we've come from and see just how many steps we've taken forwards.
That is so good. Like, how many people forget to stop and turn around and be like, look at all of the things that I have done because I was way over there. I was way over there and now I'm over here. And I feel like we get distracted almost with where we want to be in our expectation, that we forget to turn around. And that's so important because it looks different too. You can celebrate all the wins. You can see the steps that you've taken and that you actually moved and you're not stuck, and just to see it in a different, you're seeing it in a different way. You're seeing your journey in a different way because you're right. You are a different person because you're, 5 steps ahead of where you were before.
Absolutely. And something else that I try and encourage clients to do is we start with a lot of gratitude. And we try and start the day with gratitude, because when we start the day with gratitude, it changes our whole outlook on the day. Mm-hmm. And it allows us to be then thankful for things. And then we can look at what's happened to us. And yes, that situation will always be there. We can't ever wish it away. But what we do is we use that as a building block of who we have become based on that experience. And we try to remove the emotions that are linked to it. So we can look at it like we would on the TV, and you can see it as an episode of your favorite program. Something has happened, but you can watch it without that emotion creating that response. Mm-hmm. And so what I often try and encourage people to do is to not create that knee-jerk reaction based on emotional response. So we want to reply, not respond. The respond is a knee-jerk reaction. We want to take that step back, take a deep breath, think about how we want to react. Is this impacting us? Why is it impacting us? What has it triggered? And then we reply. And we reply, and we're confident in what we're replying with because we've thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm sure is a struggle at first. You got to build that muscle, right? You got to work at it and really try to take that second to really kind of go within and figure all of that stuff out.
Absolutely. And as you said, at first it's not easy, but it does become a muscle memory, and it does become oh, hang on. So, my family are very used to somebody saying something and me going, well, hold on, I'll come back in 10 minutes. That's triggered me. I need to go and understand why. When I come back, I'll explain it and then we can continue this conversation. But right now, I'm not in a place where I can have an emotionless conversation with you. My emotions are heightened and I need to go and process and understand why. My children are starting to pick up those techniques as well, and they're starting to use those. So, which is amazing. They're 11 and almost 14. So for them to be able to actually say to someone, I need to go away and think about what you've just said because it's causing a reaction with me, is amazing. They can take that step back and think about it. Often they'll come to me and say, Mom, this happened and they said this and it made me feel this. And I'm like, okay, brilliant. Let's talk that through. Let's try and understand why it's created that response with you. So I'm trying to give them the tools at a young age so that they can also help their friends going through very similar things. I know I said to you previously, I'm trying to create a healing ripple. So I'm trying to help people to heal so that they can help other people to heal. Because when we're all at heightened states of emotion, that's when conflict occurs. Let's all see if we can bring those emotions down, but raise our energy and our vibrations up instead, because then everyone's a lot calmer and a lot happier and things just flow so much easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is awesome and amazing. I really like that you said, hold on a second, I'm going to need 10 minutes. That really stood out to me because in this day and age, everything is like instant reply, do this, blah, blah, blah. Like it's almost like an expectation that it needs to be right now. And so I love that you said 10 minutes because it doesn't have to be right now. It totally can be 10 minutes. It can be the next day.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be like something that has to get fixed, you know. It can wait
Yeah.
because it's much more important to do the process of understanding and replying appropriately and going back and finishing, like completing the circle, if you will, of communication, and reminding yourself that it doesn't have to be fast and right now. So I love that you said 10 minutes, because that really, that's such a good message to remind people that it doesn't have to be instantaneous. You can take your time with it, and you can work through it and come back with what you are doing. And like you said, you doing that, and with your actions and modeling that, you are being a guide to your children, and they're seeing it, and then they're also choosing to use it, which I am sorry, with your kids and their age, that is so awesome and amazing that they can do that. Because I mean, I know that probably my teenager could do it sometimes, but he's very much of like, I need to do this right now, and his struggle is to wait. His struggle is to wait,
The
figure it
thing
out.
is, the other thing is, when you have discussions with heightened emotions, I wouldn't say all the time, but a high proportion of the time, it then escalates into a conflict, an argument, and everybody in the household then becomes heightened because well,
Mhm.
this is going off, which then can trigger other flight, fright, freeze responses in other people. And it can be, I don't mean this to sound horrible, but it can create a generational trauma because
Yeah.
this is how you were taught to parent, to behave, and this is what you're teaching your children now. Sometimes we know that's not the healthiest way to do it, but we don't always know how to undo that or to change that. So this technique of just stop and have a few minutes, have a think about what it is you want to say, can make a big difference. Myself and my daughter butt heads all the time. We're both very strong-willed, stubborn individuals. So when we don't think about how we're responding to each other, we just it's like light a match paper and walk away. It's boom.
Yeah.
So by virtue of me taking that breath and stepping back, and then her seeing that and her starting to do the same, it means that we do keep that communication at a calm level and we can communicate properly. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Tell me to shut up.
Oh, no, you're great. You're great. You're doing great. I really like, though, that you said that, because also in a heightened state of emotion, like, you don't really hear the person that you are arguing with or whatever. Like, you might hear some of the things that they say, but you really aren't truly hearing them, and that's not even constructive. Now it's just gone into a hurtful stage of it. And so, like, when you realize that and step back, and it's never too late to realize that either. Like, you could already be in a heightened state of emotion, and you could be like, what am I doing? I need to take a minute, and it's okay to do it then,
Yes.
instead of just continuing to fight. Like, you can just end it
Yeah.
there and just be like, we're going to come back,
Yeah.
and like you said, to model that. I love that you said ripple effect as well, because that is, I feel like, as being like a guide and a teacher and a parent and like those types of things, that is, you want your message to ripple out. Like, you want to be able to help heal somebody, so then they can in turn, help the next person. And as a mom, giving those tools to your kids and then seeing them use it is it's like such a reward. Like, it makes you squeal, like you're all giddy about it, because you're like, it's in there, I'm passing this to them. And it's so wonderful to see, because it's it's like breaking the cycle of something that maybe was coming from before. And it's not like your parents are, we're all doing this from what we know and in the time that we're living in, right? So that you're doing the best that you can with what you have, but noticing what you need to switch or shift or change, or what to work with, or to have those really cool tools that you can pass on to your kids. It's kind of like you're leveling up yourself by growth and like changing, but then you're like, here, I'm giving you this next level to you, so you can start from there.
Yes.
instead of starting lower, right? And it's just it makes the hair stand up on my arms. I just love it. I think it's so great. Like when you tune into that and can really cause that ripple effect, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to say that any parent has purposely done anything that they would want to hurt their children. As you said, we're doing the best we can in the moment, and sometimes it's just as simple as you said earlier, recognizing, whoa, why did I say that? I know that's going to hurt them. Why did I do that? And being able to take that step back, because I say this from a place of love, but kids now don't even have the upbringing and the freedom that I had as a child. And, there's so many more restrictions placed on children. You can't go after dark. Things still happened when I was a child, but it just wasn't reported as much.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more restrictions that we place on our children. We have to make sure we take them places. I still remember the rule for me was when the street lights come on, you come home. You
Yeah.
know, I can't do that with mine because I'm so, no, I need to know where you are. You've got a cell phone, you've got a tracking app on it. I can see where you are to make sure that you're okay. So there's so many more restrictions on them, but I'm trying to give them freedom in a different way. I'm trying to give them that emotional freedom so that, okay, they can't always go out where they want to go, but they can remain a calmer person even through the frustrations of not being able to do that. Does that make sense, or am I?
No, it does. It does because it's like it's kind of like it's processing what they're feeling with other people also. Like it's exactly what you said. And being more open with that. And I really like how you said that there's more restrictions so you're being more open in other places because it's still allowing them their freedom and not so like locked in a box. And I totally agree with you. I think having teenagers and in this world today, there's just a lot more of knowing things because, like you said, when we were younger, internet was becoming a thing. And they don't know a world without it. We do, but they don't know a world without it. And so to them, like we probably seem really archaic, but like to them, it's like there's everything is at their fingertips. And so to us to be able to, like you said, things were happening then, but now we see now because of internet and we can see it instantly. We see more of it. So it seems
Yeah,
like there's more. It's
yeah,
just more awareness of what is happening. So then you in turn as a parent have to be like, okay, so I'm going to have some more rules, but this is for safety. It's not because I'm trying to like lock you down or anything. It's just because I need to know that you're going to be safe because that's what I need to do as your mom is keep you safe.
absolutely, absolutely. My son, this might sound like an odd concept, but I'll explain it in a second. I do something which we call grounding with my son. He is an incredibly intelligent young man, but he has a lot of health issues. So his brain is just phenomenal, but his body doesn't always let him do a lot of the things that he wants to do. And he gets angry a lot, which is understandable. So I do something that we call grounding with him, and we will sit in a quiet place and make sure that our feet are touching the floor, preferably with no socks on, so they're literally touching the ground. And I'll talk him through a short meditation. And during this meditation, we imagine all of the emotions that we don't want to have and any emotions that aren't ours or thoughts that we don't like. And what we do is we push them down through our body, out through the soles of the feet, and give them back to Mother Earth so that she can take them away from us and allow us to not have those anymore. And then what we do is we fill ourselves back up with love and healing energy so that we can replenish what's just been taken away from us so that we're still a full body, full entity. And you can always see the difference in him when we've done that. He's so much calmer. He's much more able to process things and work forwards with things. Whereas previously he'd just be angry and he'd just be focusing on that anger, that lack of control, that lack of why can't I? And then afterwards he'll be like, so I know I can't do this, but I can do this better than most other people. And I can't do this, but this is what I'm going to do later on in life. And I'm like, brilliant, darling. As long as you're not breaking the law and you're happy, you can do whatever it is you want to do in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that. It's like a visualization meditation practice. I really like that because there's something for me, I'm a visual person, and whenever I do visualization things like that and like really picture it, it's almost like it's a helpful like push to do it. And then I like how you said then you fill yourself back up, so it's not just like you're getting rid of it and then like, okay, that's it. Like you need to reframe that with something else, and then just to see the change. And I love how it's like a practice that you guys do also together, so he knows that that helps him, right? He knows that it helps him, and then he knows how to do it, and he knows, all of those things. Like, does he come to you at times and just tell you that he needs it done so it's not you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
what
that's
we've what
so
we've
cool.
done initially when we were doing it, I'd say, right, I'm doing grounding, come through, we'll sit together. And these days I leave it for him to initiate. I don't want to force it on him, but I want him to know that that support is there when he needs it. So if he can do like a mini version of it most days and get through, brilliant. On the days that he needs the full version and he knows it's going to be sort of 10, 15 minutes that we're working together in a quiet place where it's just the two of us and we're going to do this meditation, then that's what we do at that point. Um, you know, a, 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 a very useful technique that I'd like to explain to you if I can for everyone listening. It's going to sound really odd, so please hang in there and I promise it will make sense at the end, okay? So when you are showering, it works best with a shower rather than a bath. So when you are showering, what you're going to do is you're going to visualize as the water comes over you, washing all the negativity, anxiety, stress, anything that's caused you any issues during that day or overnight or whenever you shower. Just see it going down the plug hole, see it going down the drain and washing away. And then once you've finished in the shower, just before you turn the shower off, you're going to visualize glitter coming out of the shower head. Now, I know this is odd, okay? But generally speaking, for self-love, it's going to be pink. For calming, it's going to be green. For nurturing, it's going to be blue. The only colors that we don't ever visualize are red. Much as you might think that's love, a lot of the time, emotionally, that's anger. So we don't go with red. And we also don't go with black because black can have negative connotations. So we don't go with red or black. But any other color you want to go with, white is pure energy. So, just pick whichever color feels right to you and visualize that glitter coming out of the shower head. So you're all wet from head to toe, and this glitter is going to stick to you and it's going to coat you in this glitter. And as you get out of the shower, this glitter is going to expand around your body and it's going to make like a glitter armor around you, like the knights used to wear in times of old, this suit around you. And essentially what this glitter armor is going to do for you is give you some space away from people's energies. So it's going to give you a little bit of room around you. And people are going to feel the difference in your energy. And the people that, not a nice phrase, but I call them energy vampires. So they swoop in either on a phone call or they come visit you and they dump all their stuff on you. And by the time they leave, you're sort of sat there going, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling good 20 minutes ago and now I feel drained, like I need to go back to bed. I call those energy vampires. Okay. So the energy vampires can't get to you because this glitter armor is all around you. So they're going to start and ease out of your life because they can't get to you anymore. They can't suck your energy anymore. But the people that respect that space and that boundary are going to have more of the ability to come into your life because they are on a similar vibration. I hope this makes sense and that it doesn't sound like a load of old twaddle. I promise you it does work.
No, I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
So once you have that glitter armor on you, you get used to putting that on. And if you could do it for a week, I promise you would see a massive difference in your life.
I love that. I want glitter armor. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like when you first started saying that about imagine the water, it's so cool. That's so cool that you said that too. Because I went on a trip in September and we went to waterfalls and I did that visualization of the waterfalls washing away all the things that needed to be taken from me that aren't for me anymore.
Yes.
And I did that a lot. And I felt a huge shift when I left that trip. Like I washed all of it away.
Yeah.
And so when you first said that, I was like, oh. And then you said glitter. And I'm like, and I love that because glitter sticks to everything. So
It
it's
does.
like, yes, just picture the glitter and I love that. I want glitter armor. I'm totally gonna try that. I'm gonna try that for a week and then I'm gonna email you and tell you. I'm gonna tell you all
Brilliant.
about
Tell me all about it because
it.
I
Yeah,
promise
I'm gonna
you it
tell you
does
all
work.
about it. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be fun. I
It
love
does
doing stuff
work.
like this.
Yeah. Um, so I'm just trying to think of other quick things that I can give, especially busy mums. You know, if your children are of school age, um, each time you go and grab yourself a drink or a coffee, just do a few breathing exercises, take a few deep breaths, you know, just try and keep that energy in a calm state because anytime we either get heightened because we're excited or lowered because we're really sad, it's very easy to become off balance. And once one thing goes off balance, it's a domino effect on everything else. You know, I had an experience where I was super excited because I was going to do this new training course and I thought it was going to be amazing and it was just going to be the cure to everything. And one of my family members sat me down and said, I hate to do this to you, Rach, but I've looked into it a little bit more and it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. And I literally went from, cloud nine to I turned into a sobbing wreck and I had to go and take myself away for 30 minutes to calm myself down because I literally felt like my world had crumbled underneath me. My feet had been kicked out. Because I was unstable, I was an unstable high. And it was so easy for someone just to kick my feet out. And it took me a good 30 minutes to recover myself and understand why I'd been triggered. So much as the highs and lows are great because they give us a learning experience, the more stable we can be, the better, because then we can tackle things that come our way and it just sort of rolls off. It doesn't get under the skin. It doesn't cause those problems. Because I'm sure we've all had days where somebody can say something to you one day and it rolls off, doesn't stick. And they can say the same thing another day. That knife hurts, man, when that goes in, that hurts. But they said it 2 days ago and it didn't bother you. But that's because of your energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also when you said like off balance, so in my household, we have my kids have big energy, big feelings. We're all with the big things here. And I have to be very careful being head of household to how I present things because it's almost like if mama's upset or I'm snippy or I'm not doing well, it's like even if I try to suppress it and like try to, try to like basically fake it, which you can't fake in front of your kids, let's be real. But like I'll try to suppress it a little bit. Then within like 30 minutes, one kid will get like attitude. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. And it'll like you said, domino effect. And then now we're all crabby. And if you being the one that can help guide and like lead, if you can balance that even by taking like there's been times where it's been like increased, like heightened, and then I'm like, okay. And I like take a second and I like, like, is this really my stuff? Do I need to be really feeling this? Do I need to be letting this go? Kind of like check in with myself and bring it down and then go have a conversation with that kiddo and be like, hey, what's going on? And sometimes if they can't describe it, I'm like, you can't take my stuff from me. Give it back, please. And you just continue to be happy, and sometimes they don't understand it. It's just the feelings that you get, it's the feels that you get with it, right? And so I try to be really mindful about that. And like you said, taking breathing, or if sometimes it's just too much, like I have a 2-story house. So I'll either whatever floor I'm on, walking up the stairs, and I'm like, okay. And I like take some breaths in, and then, like bring it back down, to like a more level and like calm state. So you can respond and reply in a different way, but also so you can just feel, because they feel it. It doesn't, it's not a thing that you would like to think you can hide it from your kiddos, but they feel it.
Yes, they do. They do. I mean, something else that only if it's safe and appropriate to do so, something else that could really, really help is barefoot on the grass outside.
Oh, yeah.
Connect with earth. Even if all you do is stand there for a few minutes, if you can stand there and consciously think about the things that you want to get rid of, they're either not yours or, this is causing me issues today. Just allow it to sink out of you into the earth. Even if you don't believe in giving it back to Mother Earth, or, even if, it goes against what your beliefs are, just having that ground contact, bare feet, it does make a difference. I promise it makes a difference. So even if that's all you can do for a few minutes, it will make a difference, and it will bring those emotions back down again.
Yeah. I love that. I do that a lot. When it's nicer out, I do that more.
Yes.
Even my kids, like, we don't wear shoes. It's like when it's nicer, there's like no shoes in and out of the house, all the things that, we like to be walking around in our bare feet, which I love. When it's colder out, it's a little harder just because you're like, it's so cold out here. My toes are frozen.
Well, it's a little tricky for me because where we are, we've got snakes. So I have to be a little bit careful when I go out and make sure that there's no snakes before I go barefoot on the grass.
Right?
No.
Any visitors? No? Okay, we can do this. Yeah, I know. You're like, yeah, that would be a little bit tricky. For us, for me in the Pacific Northwest, it's wet right now and cold. So it's a little bit tricky. But when it's nice, it's like all shoes are off. It's great.
And I bet you notice the difference, whether it's due to the sun or whether it's due to the connection with earth. There will be a big difference in changing energies within your household, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more challenging in the winter. That's so funny. So if somebody was looking to work with you, can you explain like why somebody would want to come and work with you, and then kind of just a little snippet on like what you offer to help with?
Of course. So to work with me as a trauma coach, I ask people to apply to work with me. Now, I appreciate that makes me sound a little bit different, but I ask people to apply to work with me because I need to know whether or not they're in a place to heal.
Right.
Because if they've not done any other healing in any way, I can work with them for a decade and it's not going to make a difference because they're not in that right place to work with them. And with the greatest respect, I don't want to waste anybody's time, theirs or mine, So if you are just starting out on your healing journey, bear me in mind for when you're a little bit further down the road and you've done some of the initial healing, what's causing your triggers, why you react the way you react. Great, we can work on that. If somebody's just starting out and doesn't know why, doesn't have a trigger, doesn't understand why they behave in this way, it's not going to be a great fit with myself. There are some amazing people out there that they could work with, but it's not going to be the greatest fit with me. What I can offer as a trauma coach, I'm also a spirit listener, so I can communicate with spirit. I'm also a shamanic practitioner, and I work with your chakra and your energy. So what I do on my trauma coaching is I bring everything together. So I have my spiritual team guide me, and we work on your energy at the same time as working on your trauma. We give you coping strategies, breathing exercises. We give you different techniques to try different things. We use music, we use crystals, we use oils, so scents, because fragrances can create beautiful experiences. So, we bring a whole host of everything together, but each session is completely unique. I don't offer group therapy. because everybody's trauma is different and it's very personal. So I only ever offer one-to-one sessions because I want to make sure that each of my clients gets that one-to-one attention and that we can help them take those steps forward and move along to where they want to be.
I love that. I love that. I will include all of Rachel's information too, to reach out to her, to give feedback if she spoke to you today and it really touched you or helped you. So you can contact her and let her know that it helped you, it helped. And if you want to just reach out and chat with her and see if it's a good fit too, all of that stuff will be in the show notes. So I love to ask every guest that I have on the show, because we have many superpowers inside of us, and some we notice more than others. So I always like to share so other women can think about what theirs is and all that jazz. So would you share with us today your superpower?
Oh, goodness. I think my biggest superpower is courage.
I like that one.
To keep on going, to keep on putting one foot in front of the other, to take on board the lessons that I've learned and try and create that into teachings for others. Yeah, just courage, keep on going.
I like that. I like that. Is there anything else that you want to add to say to the listeners before we go?
Thank you for listening to me. And again, as you said, if anybody would like to reach out, please do. And you know, I'd love to come back if you want to discuss any of the other stories that I could possibly help people with.
Oh, for sure. We will be doing another one for sure. You're great. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there's a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power.